is he trusted God for a blessing. Okay? Point number 1, he started a blessing. Point number 2, he worked for a blessing. Point number 3, he trusted God for a blessing. Okay, those are 3 points. Okay, so now he gets in some trouble. Because now Laban's sons are angry. They're saying, he's getting rich off all our dad's stuff. This isn't cool. So, they say, let's kill him. Bad thing is Rachel hears this and she tells Jacob. Jacob says, I'm not getting killed. So he runs. He takes all his stuff, his wife, everything, and gets out of there. So now, Laban finds out about this, and Laban's like, all right, well, killing them doesn't sound like a bad idea. Let's chase them. Laban chases them, but the only place Jacob has to go is back to his old home, where Esau's at. Okay? So, now he's being chased. Okay, and there comes a point in the story, to make a long story short, Laban catches up to him, and God comes through again. And God comes through again, and Laban leaves him and blesses him and goes off, but now he's still where Esau's at. And Esau is coming with 400 men. Okay? So Jacob is sitting there, and he was so desperate. Now this is where the serious part comes. Jacob is so desperate that he splits everything he has into 2 groups and sends them off. And he does this because if Esau can only go after one, so if Esau kills one group, the other group still lives. That's how desperate he was. That's like saying, I'm going to cut off my right arm just so my left is okay. Okay, he was really, really desperate. Okay? And so there comes a point in time where he sends the 2 groups off, and he's left alone. This is where my scripture's at. Okay? And he's just left alone in the wilderness. And it says that Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until daybreak. Now when he saw that he did not prevail against him, he touched the socket of his hip, and the socket of Jacob's hip was out of joint as he wrestled him. And he said, let me go, for day breaks. But then he said, I will not let you go unless you bless me. Hold on there. Okay, Arin version again. He's alone. Okay? Now, here's what I want you guys to think of, because we're talking about names. Okay? Think of how people think of you. Okay? Think of how people perceive you. Okay? Some people would be like, oh, I'm happy. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm that. But for some people, it's not like that. I know that some people perceive me as arrogant. Some people perceive me as, judgmental. Some people don't like me, but I know it's hard to believe. But some people don't. Okay? But here's the thing. Sometimes you're just alone. Okay? Sometimes everybody else is gone, and we're by ourselves. I've been there. You guys are going to get, no one has ever heard this before, okay? But God's dealt with me about this. You guys are going to hear my testimony. Okay? I have been alone since I was 13. Okay? I played the church game. I've been preaching since I was 12. Okay? But since I was 13, in middle school, someone introduced me to pornography. Yeah, someone introduced me to pornography, and at first it wasn't a bad thing. And it was just a quick peek here, a quick look there. But then I became addicted to pornography. For 5 years. Okay? I was alone. Everyone else was gone. And I was by myself. And I kept saying, well, you know what? I'm the guy who's called to preach. I'm the guy who's called to minister and change the world. That's me, God. I can make it through this. This is just something small. I can do it by myself. And I wrestled with myself about it back and forth and back and forth. Can I make it through? I can't make it through. I do good. I fall back. And how many of you have been in that same situation? Okay? You know, and it doesn't have to be pornography. Don't get me wrong. It's the little things, the thoughts, the cursing, the disrespect. You know, I hate talking about the big three that I call them, you know, drugs, sex, and alcohol, because everyone hits those. Everyone talks about drugs, sex, and alcohol, but we all know that's bad. We do. You know, we're a lot of people think that we're kids, you know, but we're big enough to know about that. You know, we know drugs, sex, and alcohol are bad. Sex is good just in marriage. Let's get that out of there. But here's the thing. That's not how it works. Some of us struggle with drugs, some of us struggle with sex, some of us struggle with alcohol. But a lot of us struggle with being alone. And being like Jacob and having a name that doesn't mean anything. He who grasps the heel. It seems like we're always grasping the heel of something, of someone else, of something that we're trying to reach. And I was always grasping the heel. I was always reaching for that thing people told me I was supposed to be. And I was just grasping at it. I wasn't in front where I was supposed to be. I'd go to youth camp, I'd go to revival, and man, I'd step out. I'd be the man. I'd pray, people would fall out, I'd speak in tongues, things would happen. But then I was alone again, grasping at the heel. And there comes a time when you're just alone. But then something crazy happened. There's a random guy. It doesn't give him a name. You know, people argue whether it was an angel, whether it was Jesus. You know, Jesus hadn't come yet in the physical form, so they're wondering, is it Jesus, is it an angel, is it God? What's happening here? Who is this person? But all it says was he. It doesn't give a name. And who wrestles out of nowhere? I am a wrestler. I wrestled in high school, and I love wrestling, but I don't just go up to some random stranger and wrestle. But for some reason, he wrestled this guy out of nowhere. And I read it. And we'll read it. Let's read it again real quick. Then Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until the breaking of day. Now, until the breaking of day means he wrestled with him all night. Okay? Listen, 5 years is a long time. I've wrestled all night. Okay? It is not cool. I mean, you get worn down. You get broke down. Sometimes you get a little depressed. And because what happens is the enemy puts a foot in, right? He puts a foot in it and gets at that one little thing that you're struggling with, and then he